After Ahab's death, Mesha, the king of Moab, rebelled against Israel during the reign of Ahaziah, and continued his rebellion during Jehoram's rule. Jehoram sought an alliance with Jehoshaphat to cross through Judean territory on his way to Moab. The king of Edom and his troops joined them, and all three armies traveled along a roundabout route through the wilderness for 7 days. After 7 days, there was no water for the men or their animals. King Jehoram started to moan and grumble.
What should we do? The Lord has brought the three of us here, to let the king of Moab defeat us.
But King Jehoshaphat of Judah asked,
Is there no prophet of the Lord with us? If there is, we can ask the Lord what to do through him.
One of King Jehoram's officers replied,
Elisha, the prophet, is here. He previously served as Elijah's personal assistant, often pouring water over Elijah's hands.
So the three kings, King Jehoram of Israel, King Jehoshaphat of Judah, and the king of Edom went to consult with Elisha.
Why are you coming to me?
Elisha asked Jehoram, the king of Israel.
Go to the pagan prophets of your father and mother.
Jehoram replied,
If you don't help us, then our three armies will be defeated by the Moabites.
Elisha replied,
As surely as the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I wouldn't even bother with you, were it not for my respect for King Jehoshaphat. Now bring me someone who can play the harp.
While the harp was being played, the power of the Lord came upon Elisha, and he said,
This is what the Lord says. Dig ditches all over this valley, because this will be filled with water. There will be no wind nor rain, but this valley will be filled with water. You will have plenty for yourselves, and your cattle and other animals. But this is only a simple thing for the Lord, for he will make you victorious over the army of Moab. You will conquer their fortified cities, cut down all their trees, stop up all their springs, and ruin all their good field with stones.
So the three kings went back to their armies and told them to start digging ditches. Meanwhile, when the people of Moab heard about the three armies marching against them, they mobilized every man who was old enough to strap on a sword, and they stationed themselves along their border. The next day, at about the time when the morning sacrifice was offered, water suddenly appeared. It was flowing from the direction of Edom, and soon water filled the ditches. The sun was shining across the water, making it appear red to the Moabites, like blood.
It's blood!
The Moabites exclaimed.
The three armies must have attacked and killed each other. Let's go, men of Moab, and collect the plunder.
But when the Moabites arrived at the Israelite camp, the army of Israel rushed out and attacked them until they turned and ran. The army of Israel chased them into the land of Moab, destroying everything as they went. They destroyed the towns, covered their good land with stones, stopped up all the springs, and cut down all the good trees. Finally, only Kir-Hareseth and its stone walls were left. But men with slings surrounded and attacked it. When the king of Moab saw that he was losing the battle, he led 700 of his swordsmen in a desperate attempt to break through the enemy lines near the king of Edom. But they failed. Then the king of Moab took his oldest son, who would have been the next king, and sacrificed him as a burnt offering on the wall. So there was great anger against Israel, and the Israelites withdrew and returned to their own land. Pause the video to read and answer the questions. What lesson do you take away from this story about Jehoram?